How we doing, everybody? Davey boy here to bring you my big guys favorites list. This is far from a complete list because it's hard to get demos in my size. But if you feel like this review helped you, please reach out to your favorite brands and tell them you want Davey boy to review more products to help you, the bigger riders. Based off of what I've tested, these are the boards that I love. If I missed your favorite board, go ahead, hop in the comment section, let us know what board it is, and I will do my best to review that board as soon as possible. I got a size 12 boot, I'm 240 pounds, and I'm 6'3.5". And just so you know, it's important to reference your boot size first, weight a close second, and height a distant third when it comes to sizing for snowboards. If all three aren't brought up by a product reviewer or a shop worker that's helping you, I personally wouldn't really trust their opinion. I'm going to break this down according to riding styles in no specific order. If you want more information on riding styles, we have an in-depth article and video at thegoodride.com.
And as you know, we put out honest, objective, unbiased reviews without any brand oversight. And we can do that thanks to the support of shops like Blower Board Shop. They have a strong presence online. So if you want to support the Good Ride and keep objective reviews flowing, check out Blower Board Shop, click through our links and see if something works for you there.
So the first category on the list is mountain freestyle. I don't have a lot of boards in this category, but the one that I do have is pretty great. And that is the Yes Greats. The ability level for this board goes from a committed intermediate all the way up to expert riders. The asymmetrical ride of the Yes Greats feels like pure magic when you're carving. This board has a stiffer flex and increased camber profile, so now it actually matches its flex rating. This makes the board even better, especially for bigger riders like myself who are pushing out the weight limits. This board has a super unique and enjoyable riding experience. When popping off of side hits and going through the park, it feels like a true twin. But then you go out and carve and this thing lays some of the most perfect trenches you will ever lay. Just make sure you set this up centered and ride it perfectly ducked. This is the type of board where you get your stance dialed once and you just set it and forget it. I recommend just getting an extra pair of bindings just for this board. If your stance is a little off and you're not completely dialed, you're gonna get 80-75% out of this board. The turning experience shines when you access the asymmetrical edge for this board to work. Now moving on to the all mountain category. The first all mountain board is going to be the Never Summer Benchmark. This board works for beginners all the way up to experts. I rode this board a ton last year, 15 to 20 days, which is a lot for a demo board. This isn't a true big guys board because it only comes in mid-wide, but I had to add it to the list. I thought I would be booting out with my size 12 boots, but I didn't. This thing is super poppy with a whole lot of spring to it. I felt like I was accessing a whole nother level of pop when I rode this. Natural transitions and airs that I was hitting that normally are like 5 to 6 feet easily became 8 to 10 foot gaps without even trying. That's just how naturally poppy and playful this board is. The setback inserts also open up a whole new world of possibilities for this board. It floated really well for its shape, especially on the deeper days. I had no issues with the float. I had a ton of fun riding this thing in powder. It is a fun, poppy, versatile ride. Next up on the all mountain boards is the Proto Type 3. I didn't get to ride this, but Beastie loved it. And it comes in a lot of bigger sizing options, including wide and ultra wide. Next up, we got the Lib Tech Skunk Ape Camber. This is for advanced to expert riders. It's a hard charger with the full camber. If you want a board that's more intermediate, beginner friendly, you can look at the Skunk Ape rocker. But we're talking about the camber because I love how hard that board charges. It is arguably the hardest charger on this list. It is a hard snow favorite. If you're someone who lives on the ice coast, you see a lot of extra firm groomers and you need something that can handle the ice, this is gonna be our #1 hard snow specialist. It is slightly tapered and directional, and it's a true big guy's board. It only comes in wide and ultra wide. And other than having a thirsty base that requires frequent waxing, I have no complaints with this board. It obviously doesn't have very much setback for powder, but other than that, this thing thing is an all-around beast. Carves hard, has lots of pop while still remaining damp, handles uneven snow really well. You get it on edge. It holds an edge through any bucky seams on the corduroy you might get. This thing is damp, fast, aggressive. Like I said, probably the hardest charger on the whole list. Next up, we got the Jones Aviator 2.0. This is for beginners all the way up to experts. It has full camber, but it also has slightly lifted sides, so it is more friendly for beginner riders than you would expect. The Jones Aviator 2.0 is one of my favorite springtime slush boards. It only has average float and powder, but it is a jumping machine with amazing pop on an ollie or out of a carve thanks to the full camber. This is a great option for a 2-board quiver if you're not hitting a lot of rails. Get this for your springtime or groomer days and pair it up with something that's more set back, dedicated for the powder, and you have a very versatile 2-piece quiver. Other than feeling a little washy in hard snow due to the slightly lifted edges, this board is an absolute beast. Next up on the all mountain list, we got the Yes Standard XTRM. The Standard XTRM is a mid-wide to wide all mountain board. I loved the Yes Standard Unink in a 162, but this new Standard XTRM is even stiffer. So I like it even more because it better handles my 240 pounds. This board has very good grip, can carve really well regular or switch, but it also has set back inserts so you can get some extra float and powder. This is a very versatile 1-board quiver for people that like to ride center on groomers, get a lot of air, but still want a little help for those deep days in powder. It's an aggressive board, but it has some early rise to keep it on the forgiving side of aggressive. And for the last of the all mountain boards, we have the Lib Tech Rasman. This board is suited for beginners all the way up to experts. The Rasman is a fantastic option for mid-wide riders who have size 10 to 12 boots. So it's not a dedicated big guys board, but we had to put it on the list. This board is less directional and less aggressive than other boards you will find in the Orca line. It sits perfectly between the Lib Tech Terrain Wrecker and the Golden Orca. What you lose in powder float, you gain in freestyle riding ability. This board is pretty damp for how poppy and playful it is. Perfect for somebody who likes a more centered feel on board, but still wants to do some spins and hit big jumps in powder. The Magna Traction Edge also makes this an ideal board for ice coast riders or people who see a lot of extra firm groomers. Because of the rocker underfoot, it can get a little unstable when flat basing. So now we're moving on to Freeride. My first Freeride board is the Stranda Descender EVO. This board is suited for committed intermediates all the way up to experts. The Stranda Descender EVO is a Freeride board that I think a lot of people will really appreciate. It has the same shape, camber profile, and stance location as the regular Descender, but with extra carbon stringers and D3O for more dampening. It gives it extra pop while adding dampness, but it doesn't feel any more technical. It's got a big mountain, straight lining personality that can also mellow out and get a little more turny if you're not feeling full on aggressive. My legs can get pretty cooked after the 4th or 5th day in a row of riding, so I like a board that can start out really aggressive, but as the week goes on and I get more and more fatigued, it can turn down the personality and cruise around and take it easy. This has a decent camber underfoot that goes well past the inserts with a touch of early rise in the tail, but not much. This is an excellent big mountain board that's not bad for low angle mountain riding. If you want something with easier low angle powder float, look at the Stranda Bowlrider. Next up on the list is the Nidecker Megalight. This is a big mountain ride that loves to turn more than the Stranda Descender, but it also has setback inserts, so it kills it in low angle powder. This board is top of the line when it comes to tech. This is a very light, almost ultra light ride without any of the chattery or bucky trappings that come with the ultralight construction. It has a super fast base with incredible dampening tech for being so light. This is a great one board directional solution for those who want a board from everything from big mountain to low angle. The spring out of the turn and pop on an ollie is exceptional. This board does have limited sizing, so it's not a dedicated bigger rider's board. But again, it's such a fun and good board that we had to put it on the list. The biggest size is 164 wide. Hope that can fit you. But it handled my 240 pounds, no problem. All right, next on the list is my personal favorite category, the alternative freeride category. First board is the Jones Mind Expander. This board is suited for intermediate riders all the way up to experts. The Jones Mind Expander has had world-class float ever since it was first created, but the recent addition of camber between the feet has made this board even better for someone like me. This thing has turned into a one board quiver killer type of ride. While it might not have the ultra elite float of that full rocker that it used to have, the camber between the feet with the rocker nose and tail allows this thing to retain 85-90% of its float. It's still upper tier cream de la cream of powder float for alternative freeride boards. But now with the camber between the feet, this thing charges hard. This carves great, lights up groomers. You can lay some real deep trenches with this board. This thing stays nose up on the deepest of deep. This board is medium stiff, but not too stiff where it loses its playful nature. It stays easy to turn. It's aggressive, but not too aggressive. And it's stiff enough to handle the gnarliest of big mountain lines. It also stays damp and absorbs the shock really well, so you can ride this thing from bell to bell all day, as tracked out as it gets, no issues. Next up for the alternative freeride boards is the Stranda Bowlrider 2.0. This board is suited for committed intermediates on up to expert riders. This Bowlrider is the softer, poppier, easier turning, solid tail version of the Stranda Tree Surfer. The Ashwood core keeps this board very damp. Great all day ride. The dampness lends into this board's hard charging personality. You're able to point and not get bucked out of a line. This board is also super poppy, a rare combination of great pop and great shock absorption. This is my favorite board in my quiver when I'm in a mood to go out and get air on a powder day. It has a nice balance of being competent in big mountain riding, but still floats well in low angle powder. Love this board so much, I had to add it to my quiver. I'm really excited to get out and ride this thing in some bigger, steeper terrain than what's available to me on Mount Bachelor. The backseat camber between the feet can be felt when carving. This board handles tracked out snow with ease. The big rocker nose doesn't get chattery either. All around great board. And last but not least for the alternative freeride boards, we have the Korua Transition Finder. This board is suited from intermediates on up to expert riders. This is such a fun snowboard. This board carves and gets air as good as any other board on this list, but this still has great float due to its setback stance options, combined with Korua's float camber. The Transition Finder has more tail than any other board in Korua's line besides the auto, so this thing has a lot of landing gear. You can set it back for the deepest of deep, and then you can center your stance and take this thing out on everything from firm groomers to some springtime slush. The softer flex that provides this board with its more playful and friendly personality also make it just a little bit more chattery in hard uneven snow than some of the other boards on this list. But for me, it's not enough to say anything bad about this board. I think it's a give and take that a lot of people are willing to make. The playful, poppy personality that makes this board so good, it's worth giving up just the tiniest bit of dampness, and it doesn't detract anything from this board for me. I think this board is still amazing, and I love it just as much as any of the other alternative freeride boards that might be a little damper. This year you have two options: a brush top sheet that's going to make it lighter and poppier, and then you can also go with the glossy white top sheet, which is what I'm referring to, which is more of the classic Korua build. That's going to be a little damper and not as light. And the next category is going to be short wides. I only got one board in the short wide category, and that thing kicks ass. That is the Stranda Biru. This board works for intermediates on up to experts. The Biru is really a special board. It has a more centered ride than other boards with similar shapes on this list, but it still has great powder float. I got it out and didn't think it would handle my weight in the deep, but I was mistaken. I got it out on a day with like 2 to 3 feet of powder, and this board felt almost unsinkable. I was very, very impressed. But uneven snow is where this board shines. This board goes from a great board to a board I can't live without. It stays so damp and just absorbs shock. It absorbs uneven snow. This thing handles tracked out snow, eats it up for breakfast, just stays damp, holds an edge through all of it. It really is an uneven snow specialist. The full camber with early rise in the nose allowed this board to feel stable and locked in when carving, while still staying damp. If you're somebody who is new to directional shapes, or you don't prefer that nose up surfy style of directional board, this is a great option. Moving on to the snow surf category, I'm gonna start with the Soul Shift. This board is suited for advanced to expert riders. I was really surprised at how much I liked the lifted side spoon tech going on with this board in the nose and tail. It had no negative effect on my turning experience, and if anything, it made it a little better. It's also an exceptional powder board as well. It doesn't ride as set back on the tail as the Korua Dart, I'm about to talk about next, which is what makes this board so enjoyable. It has an almost unsinkable float due to the swallowtail, but it still rides more centered than you would expect, and it can get air pretty well. I found myself multiple times forgetting I was in a swallowtail after landing airs off of wind lips or natural features into powder. I'm not calling this a park board unless you're Zebulon. And getting it out of powder onto groomers, this thing just lit it up. Absolutely lit the groomers up. This is a fun carver, all around, pretty versatile swallowtail. You can get it out in the deep, you can get some airs on it, and you can get it out and carve this thing on some firm groomers, some nice corduroy, and you will just lay trench after trench and have a time on this thing. And for my second swallowtail on the list, to round out the snow surf category, I have to add the Korua Dart. This board is suited for committed intermediates on up to experts. The Dart is not just a snowboard, it is one of my best friends. This is a true chariot of the gods. Its short swallowtail, ultra nose up surfy type of ride is unique and addicting. It may not be the ideal board for everybody or for every day, but when the snow is bottomless and the groomers are flawless and you're out there for the love of the turn, let the Dart be the pen that writes your love letter in the snow. This board is medium, stiff, and poppy. The thicker fins stay stable while carving at higher speeds. I recommend this as a complementary quiver piece. This is not for somebody who wants a board that can do it all. Even though the Dart is surprisingly good on groomers and in uneven snow for how big of a nose it has, this thing can eat up tracked out end of day snow. But if you're somebody looking just for one of the most purely enjoyable nose up surfy turning experiences you can find, this is up there, bar none, one of the best boards I've ever ridden for that specific turning experience. If you want a swallowtail that's a little bit more versatile, if you are somebody that does like to get natural airs, hit natural features while riding around on a powder day, the Shift might be a little better of an option for you. But if you want a dedicated pow board where you're like, forget the airs, I just want beautiful, epic powder turns, the Dart is up there as one of the best soul turners I've ever ridden. Last but not least, we have the pure powder category. And we got one king that rules them all for this category, and that's gonna be the Korua Pin Tonic. This board is suitable for committed intermediates on up to expert riders. This board is designed to be ridden like a longboard surfboard. The only sizing is 170 centimeters or up. The Pin Tonic has a very easy turning small board feel underfoot, which is surprising for how long it is. This thing reminds me of some of my Samoan buddies growing up. It's big as hell, but surprisingly agile. The Pin Tonic has exceptional float. This is the kind of board I like to ride on bottomless days. But I also have a great time carving this board on groomers. The pintail allows for a very unique carving experience. When you really lay a trench on this board, you can almost like pivot out of the tail. With how long it is and how much board you have in front of you, you get this super enjoyable, super unique pinned type of carve off the tail that's really fun to play around with. That being said, this thing does have a monster nose on it and can get pretty chattery. So for me, this is a perfect conditions ride. Untouched, bottomless powder, or just perfect, untracked out corduroy. I don't want anything in the middle. But if you can get perfect conditions and you got a place in your quiver for one of the more unique powder boards on the market, something that's just unsinkable, the Pin Tonic is an excellent choice for you. I hope this list helped. I'm just an average guy out here who absolutely loves snowboarding, and I'm doing my best to get as many reviews as we can get for the bigger riders because reviews are limited in those sizing. So like I said at the very beginning of this video, if these reviews helped you and you think I have a unique, valuable input being a bigger reviewer, please reach out to the brands and let them know you want to see Davey Boy in more reviews. Thank you for watching. We couldn't do it without you. We love you all. Peace! Oh yeah! Fuck yeah!